Today, I'm speaking the truth only. And my next statement is applying to everybody, whether you're American, Japanese, or Ukrainian. You don't know the real Ukrainian language. Each time I talk to my grandparents, they seem to speak somehow else, as if I had the poorest vocabulary. My grandmother was a teacher at one time, but I still thought that I had a pretty huge vocabulary. Anyways, the same situation happened to my generation many times. Just a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with one guy who was giving me feedback on the speech I'm delivering right now. His grandmother always used the word laniti, which he had no clue what meant. Maybe somebody among you knows? If no, let's leave it to the end. A lot of time ago, my For You page on TikTok started to be full of videos with repressed words. The authors were saying that they were repressed by Russian Soviets, and now need to be used again. Words were very beautiful indeed, but I didn't know them. That's why when I took part in one contest for a scholarship abroad, I proposed to my team to make a project about it. Searching, I discovered that it was called Linguicide. There were lots of materials and works where people were talking about such a crime. By the way, as a result, my team and I created a game with flashcards to learn repressed words. But now I feel this all needs explanation, because I'm sure there are confused eyes. Linguicide is the deliberate destruction of a certain language as the main sign of an ethnos, nation. Ukrainian scientist Ivan Ogiyenko emphasized that language is our national sign. In language, our culture, the degree of our consciousness. Language is a form of cultural and national life, a form of a national organization. And as long as the language lives, the people will live as a nationality. If there is no language, there will be no nationality. The topic of linguicide is huge, and the topic of repressions toward Ukrainians is even huger. But today, I want to tell about Alter the Ukrainian language, a campaign provided by Russian Soviets. The most highlighted period is called Ukrainization. I'm sure you won't remember the data, but for the record, it's April 1923, exactly 100 years ago. Newspapers were telling, this is the time to evoke Ukrainian national consciousness. We will support language, literature, and science. But usually, Bolsheviks were telling nonsense in the media. The real aim was to build Ukrainian communists for Stalin, to calm us down by bringing a bit of national freedom. The irony is Ukraine awoke, but not obeyed, would not change traditions. Kharkiv spelling was created in 1928. Its point was to document the real language and to combine the language of regions of Ukraine, as they developed differently. It wasn't the Soviets' goal. Unfortunately, Bolsheviks were like kids. They got angry and crushed. Kharkiv spelling was too Ukrainian, and it was bad for the Soviets. Therefore, it was banned. All of the words were pushed out of texts and mouth and changed to some more Russian-like. In Ukraine, it is called kalka. The justifications, dialects, artificial or thought-up words. The consequences of it are seen in the register of repressed words. There are thousands of them. It's online now, so you can look it up. In some, zelenina, that is vegetables, became ovochi, and sat, that is frost, became inij. For the record, in Russian, these words sound like inij and ovochi. You catch the similarity. So the problem. Ukrainian is Russificated. But does it matter nowadays to change? Yes. First, it supports the stereotypes. Many foreigners may still associate Ukrainians and Russians, raising the question, why are languages so similar? And it has a point. In the circumstances of the full-scale invasion, such a state of mind abroad is dangerous. It supports the brother nation statement. Second, right now, in the occupied territories, Russians carry out the politic of linguicide as well. Third, linguicide is the reason for the language discussion. But lack of cohesion based on language, lack of national cohesion. That's exactly what Russian Soviets were trying to do. Fourth, the need for complete ethnic independence. Language is a mentality, It influences society. And if we, Ukrainians, are a separate nation, we have to prove it. And if speaking Ukrainian is the first stage, then reviving Ukrainian is the second. When I asked my history teacher to help me with the speech, she almost cried an article for me. The education system is not concentrated on the history of Ukraine despite a real need. For example, there is 1 hour of the subject in grades 5, 6, and 7. For the record, there is 1 hour of music in 6th grade as well. There is no information about literally banning Ukrainian words to make the language more Russian-like in the books of Ukrainian history. But school is the first stage of informing adolescents anyway. And if a school doesn't talk about linguicide, maybe it's not that important. However, Ukraine does have many accomplishments. The main one is the spelling of 2019. It returned many lexical forms, endings, translations, and spellings. There are numerous books on the topic. I recommend The Ukrainian Language in the 20th Century, The History of Linguicide, by the way. However, we can do more. The vital act is changes in the education system and increase in hours developing the topic. But we aren't all politicians, although I would like my message to be spread that much. Therefore, for now, there are 5 ways. First, speak Ukrainian, popularize Ukrainian. That's exactly what Russian Soviets were trying to take away. Second, use words from the 2019 spelling. Many people say that they don't like those words. They sound weird and it's strange, but that spelling is a legally enshrined attempt to return the Kharkiv spelling. Choose whatever you like. Start small. Third, spread the information further. Earlier, Ukrainians were told that our language was a fiction, hence it was totally fine to replace words. Fourth, look up projects with the same goal and spread them. For example, the project Linguicide, made in Kyiv by Valentina Merzhevska. Among YouTubers, I recommend Ideya Alexandrivna, and in books, Overcoming the Consequences of Linguicide in Ukrainian Modern Society. They tell everything what I said, but better. Fifth, use words from the Register of Repressed Words. It's the best way to both inform people and evoke the Ukrainian language. Don't you think that it is more beautiful to say lanit instead of shoka? Yeah, that word meant cheek. Try to make them neologisms. Some people don't know what the word skill means. Why wouldn't they also learn the word сать? Крамниця, хідник, далебі, осоння. Bolsheviks took them away from us, but we can put them in books, ads, and everyday speech again. And speaking of the flashcard game that my team and I created in the selection process, if anybody wants to realize an idea in digital or paper version, everything is planned. And you have my contact, and I'm not joking. Ukrainian language is a nation. It isn't a branch of another language or kalkas, but specific authenticity grown from our ancestors. And we should not still depend on the past of repressions. Once, a famous Ukrainian poet Lina Kostenko said, "Nations do not die of heart attacks. First, their language is taken away." Thank you.